What's up, everybody? David Yang here again with Home Sellers. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk, where I talk about real estate. In this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the 1031 exchange. What is it and how to use it? Now, before we get started, if you could do me a big favor by smashing that thumbs up button below and sharing this video, hopefully the information here can help somebody else out as well. Okay. So what is a 1031 exchange? Now, before we get into that, I want to give you guys a little backstory about a phone call that I got last year from a customer, okay? She called me up and she said, "Hey, David, I am so angry, okay, because I'm trying to do a 1031 exchange and I sold my property and I'm now buying my next property. They're telling me that I can't do a 1031 exchange. Why is that?" And I started doing some digging. I asked her some questions. Okay, who helped you to do the 1031 exchange? She said, "Well, my real estate agent did." And I said, "Did anybody else help you?" And she said, "Yeah, my real estate agent said, just talk to my CPA and my CPA can handle it." And then she went and talked to her CPA. And her CPA said, "Oh, okay, just talk to the title company. They can handle the 1031 exchange for you," okay? So she said, okay. She went to the title company and they said, "Yeah, sure, we'll do everything. We will help you do all the title work and everything like that." So she sold her property here in Minnesota, and then she went to a different state and she was trying to buy another property. Come to find out that she cannot do a 1031 exchange. The reason for that, she is missing one key person, okay? She's missing a 1031 intermediary. Somebody that is a third party that actually holds on to the funds and makes sure that you get all the milestones and goals and rules that you have to follow to be able to do the 1031 exchange, okay? She is missing that key person. Now, that is the reason why I'm making this video, because I don't want you potentially to make the same mistake. And generally, if you're watching this video, you probably have questions about 1031 exchanges, how to do them, and how not to make mistakes, okay? So let's get into what the 1031 exchange actually is. Okay, so what is a 1031 exchange? So 1031 exchange is just fancy for IRS Section 1031, which is a rule from the government that allows people or businesses to do a like-kind exchange or defer paying capital gains taxes on certain types of property. Now that we kind of understand what a 1031 exchange is, how does it apply to real estate, okay? So in real estate, investors usually use 1031 exchanges to defer paying capital gains on the sale of their property. So how does that work? So pretty much what the government is saying is that if you do not touch your proceeds at all and you move it right to the next property, then you can defer paying capital gains until you actually make a sale where you take all the profits out, okay? So an example of this would be if you own a rental property and you bought it for a smaller amount and then now it's grown in value and you're ready to sell it, okay? The profit that you made on that sale would be subject to capital gains tax. Now, if you didn't want to pay that tax, what you could do is you can roll that profit into the next property. Now, you got to understand there's going to be some rules around this, okay? So generally the rule is from the time that you sell your current property, you have 45 days to identify the next property that you're purchasing. Then you have 180 days to actually close on that. So you got to be careful because this could lead a lot of investors to make bad decisions when purchasing their next property, okay? But if you can find the next property and you can roll those proceeds into it, this could be a very powerful way for you to reduce your tax liability. Now, how can you use this strategy going forward? You can potentially do this indefinitely until you die, okay? And once you die, if you pass that property on to, let's just say, your children, they get it at a stepped up basis, meaning that they pay actually zero taxes if they just turned around and sold it the next day after you died. So that is in theory. Now, has that been practiced before? I'm pretty sure that it has. Now, what you want to do is you want to consult your CPA, tax attorney, intermediary, to see if this will work for you, for your individual situation. Now, some people might be asking, hey, David, what if I can't identify a property within 45 days? There's just no deals out there, okay? So there are other types of 1031 exchanges that you can utilize for this, such as reverse exchanges, where you can have your intermediary, the person that's doing the 1031 exchange for you, actually go buy that property, and then they hold it for you until you sell your property, and then start the process for you, okay? Now, again, you want to make sure that you are consulting with a very experienced 1031 intermediary for this process and the whole 1031 exchange process to make sure that you are following the rules correctly. Because if you don't, you might get in trouble with the IRS. So you want to have professionals working with you. So that was a very quick rundown of 1031 exchanges and how to use them. Again, I cannot stress enough, you need professionals working on this with you, licensed professionals. So find a CPA, find a tax attorney, find a qualified intermediary that can do 1031 exchanges, that has experience doing them. Not to mention, find real estate agents, find lenders that have experience working with clients that are going through a 1031 exchange, okay? This information here is all for your education. It is not any type of advice, okay? So again, find your own qualified professional, licensed professional to help you through the process. You will thank me later by finding somebody that is qualified to do that, okay? But if you have any more general questions about the process, go ahead and leave them in the comments section below. If not, I will see you guys next time on the next episode of Real Talk.